Well, I think mentally we know sort of the plans, what we're trying to bowl. I think our last game against the Netherlands, we just didn't execute our plans well at all. I mean, all seamers were a little bit too expensive as to what we'd have liked. But as I say, yeah, I think we've got good plans on these sort of wickets, but we just need to execute them better. And I think all our bowlers can hold their hands up against the Netherlands and say we didn't do the job, along with the fielders. But that's up to us to change that in practice and make sure we get it right, because we know what we want to do and the style of bowling we want to produce.
And faced with a guy like Virendra, he's the obvious sort of threat at that top of the order, isn't he? I mean, does that sort of raise your game? Is that what you play it for, Stuart?
Well, yeah, I mean, any international sportsman plays sport to test yourself against the best players in the world. So it's an exciting opportunity for all our players to step on that field against world-class players. So we know we can beat the best teams in the world. We've proven that in all formats. Having won the 2020 World Cup last May, the Ashes in Australia, we know we can compete, and it's up to us to show that come Sunday, because it's going to be an amazing day's cricket.
If England have to play two spinners in the match, probably one specialist batsman has to go out, and have we ever been briefed on that, your batting responsibility as such?
Well, I mean, it obviously depends on the wicket, but there certainly might be a shout to play two spinners. But Michael Yardy's very handy with the bat as well. If he came in at 7, we've still got Tim Breslin at 8, myself and Graham Swan 9 and 10. So there's still runs in the tank, and I don't think particularly losing a specialist batsman would harm our lineup too much. Because at the end of the day, it's up to your top 4 really to make the big impact and score the majority of your runs in your ideal one-day innings, and then your bottom 6 are there to try and add sort of a quick 20, 30 at the end. So it doesn't change the responsibility if you do lose a batsman, because at the end of the day, you say your openers and your top 4 have got to get your majority of your runs if you're going to win tournaments.
Stuart, after 2009, that's the last time we played India in the World 2020, the short ball seemed to be a weakness. Is it a potential weakness of this Indian batting lineup? And are you looking forward to resuming your duel with Yuvraj Singh?
I mean, at the end of the day, obviously you've got to use the short ball wisely on all conditions. I think that Lord's wicket went through quite nicely, so we were able to execute that ball on that particular wicket. You have to adjust to every ground you play at. Hopefully this Bangalore wicket will have a little bit of bounce in, but at the end of the day, you can't overuse the bounce. You've got to use it to catch each batsman by surprise. So it's something we'll talk about, but I don't think we'd use it any more against India than we would against the Aussies. At the end of the day, and any batsman will tell you, if you get the bouncer exactly right, it causes anyone in the world a bit of trouble. But as long as it's a surprise, as you say, it can be a dangerous ball.
How much does it motivate you, I mean the whole England team, that in the last 36 years, England hasn't won the cup, even once?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, our record in World Cups, we've got to a few finals, but we haven't won it, and that's obviously in the past. I think in the past, since sort of Andy Flower's taken over, we have been changing the history of English cricket a little bit, in the fact we won our first ICC tournament in the 2020 World Cup. We won in Australia for the first time in 24 years. So we are achieving things that other England teams probably haven't, but it's obviously a World Cup is on our radar here. We've got the confidence of winning big tournaments, and I think that's very important. We know how much momentum plays a part in World Cups. The 2020 World Cup, we started pretty averagely, having lost one and drawn one to get through the group stage, and then we picked up and fired on all cylinders for the rest of the tournament. So hopefully we'll follow a similar path in this 50 over World Cup.